Good evening. This is my presentation for the assignment to create a Django project to basically do simple SQL management and manipulation data insertion using the Django, and then it has a theme of just being related to student grades. So let's actually start the video. So first, you want to set up your Django, install PIPs, set up the Django, set up your virtual environment. So as you can see here, I already have mine set up using the Django environment. And so now that you've done that, we want to open our terminal here. So here, we want to type Django -admin, and now we want to put start project, and then we can put a name. So for this, we will put student system. So once you get that, you can see that this folder has been created, and here this is where we will be operating. So first, you wanna go here. You wanna close your previous terminal, and you wanna start up terminal here so that we can change the directory to this specific folder. And here we wanna do once again do Django admin, but now instead of start project, we wanna put start app. Now that you have the app, once again, we can put any name. For this project, we'll be putting student grades, and then we put enter, and then boom, we have the student grades. Here is basically its own app within the project, and here you can just start manipulating different aspects of the app. So to do that, we will go to Visual Studio Code. So here we have the student system itself. So we want to exit this, and we want to pull this into Visual Studio, and then sooner or later this should show. Where is it? Up there we go. Here are the contents of the student system. So first we want to go to the student system itself, so the entire project folder. We want to go to settings. So in this settings file, we will find a list called installed apps. So since we added the student grades app, we want to put that in here so that it's registered. Grades. So once our project starts, you'll be able to you'll be able to see the app itself since it's already under the installed apps. So we're gonna close that, and then we're gonna go up. Wait, first let's save this, and then let's move on to student grades. So in student grades, we want to go specifically to models, because models is the one that handles all of the database related aspects of the I guess in this case the app. So I had something pre-written. So here we have a simple student class. Okay, so I can close that. Okay, there we go. So here the class student, you can basically imagine as a table. So if you're familiar with SQL and tables, so student here is kind of like a table, and so it has three attributes, that being name, age, and grade. And of course here we have here, just like declaring attributes, here you would have what type of attribute it would be. So we have character, we have integer, and then here for integer for characters we have we can specify a length, how long we want it to be. It's kind of like the varchar, and so on and so forth. So pretty much it is just like it is kind of similar to the SQL table. So now that we have actually entered that, we can now close Visual Studio, and now we can go back to the terminal. So now that we've done that, we want to save the changes in the system itself. So here we have to put py manage.py, and now we can put make migrations. You can also make this more specific, so you can put make migrations and then student system or something like that. But we'll just keep it simple and put make migrations. So as you can see here, it made migrations for student grades. So here we have the now it created a in the you can go to the files itself. You can find a migration folder, and it will make this 001.initial.py, and then created a new model called student. So keep in mind of this, because we're gonna be using this migration number. So you take the same thing, manage.py, and then now we're gonna make now we're gonna put dot migrate. So now that we've make migrations, now we can kind of commit to those changes. So once we click migrate, it's running all the migrations, and so you can see here it runs the student dot initial. Okay, cool. So one final thing before we can actually start using our SQL database things, we can put these SQL. You can put SQL in front of migrate, so it's now SQL migrate, and then we can now put the student grade, so the name of the app itself, grades, and then we can put the migration number, so we can basically, migrate the changes from to the SQL. So here we see create model student, and then create table, so on and so forth, and then commit. So we actually committed to the changes in MySQL. So now that we've done that, we can actually start changing the database within the project itself. So for this, we will be doing it in a Python shell, or a Python compiler. So, or I guess in this case, interpreter. So to do that, we will put manage.py shell. So we opened a Python shell. So here you can see Python interactive console. You can tell because it has three left pointing arrows, and of course, so now here we can actually start making a few changes, or we can. So first we need to import the actual table itself. So we should put from student grades dot models. You can put import student, so the name of the table itself. Okay, so the next thing is, first we need to check if the table actually exists. So we shall put student dot objects dot all. So as you can see, it gave us it returned us an empty set. So we know that the table itself exists, but there is no data within that table. So now that we are aware that the table is online, we can actually start putting some new information within that table. So here we can declare a variable. So let's say y, and then we can equal to, so we declare the student as an object. So it's an object declaration, so student, and then if you remember, we had three variables, three attributes. You had name, you have age, and we have grade. And with that, we can actually declare what call that? You can declare not variables, just data. You can assign data to these different variables. So here we have name is equal to, and then let's say Alex. So for age, we can say 21, and then for grade, we can set this as 90, and then okay. So with that variable, we can put a function called .save. So this is our way of inserting it into the table. So once we've done that, we can now call the same student.objects.all command, and you can see student object 1. So there is one object. If you want to see the exact values within it, you can append dot values into the back, and then run it. And so here it will actually show you the values within each object under that I guess like main object, like student. So now that we have that, I can just show another way of inputting more information within the same object. So let's start with that. So okay, now that we have three, now that we have like three different student objects. So here we have S1, S2, S3 as variables, and we assign them different student objects. So here we have Eric, Polly, and Lance with their own age and grades. So now that we have that, we can now put them in a single list. So, if you've seen any Python list, we use open and close brackets. We put the different variables here, S1 to S3, within it, and then we declare it under a variable name, student list. So this is our array or our list. So what we can do with this list is we can use a for loop. So here for x in student list. So it assigns, so each value within that student list, we can assign it to x as it iterates, and then we can basically do something with that item. So here we will put a space because we need to follow proper indentation in Python, and then we can use x.save. So as we go through the loop, x gets the value. It's essentially the value for each of the items within the list as it iterates, and so every time it gets the value, or the values of a variable, we can basically use the dot save. So essentially what we're doing is we're going through the list 1, 2, 3, and then we're saving the first, we're saving 1, we're saving 2, we're saving 3, and so on and so forth. So as we can enter, and once we break out of the loop, we should be able to use the object values command to see that all of those different values got inserted into the table. So if you have multiple different variables you wanna insert into the table by bulk, you can use a for loop using this method so that you can save some time instead of manually inputting it yourself. So that's it for now. So thank you for watching.